tonight. We told you about it. We're time traveling a little bit. This is recorded prior to what you guys just watched. Nico and I were just live after the Avalanche game. We have our good friend from Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports Podcast, Daren Breyer, on with us, and we're going to talk NBA playoffs because Daren is a big basketball presence, especially over on the Variety Sports Network, big Warriors fan, and we don't have to deal with them right now. We can maybe talk about our situations that are similar but different in a way, and then we'll also get into a little bit of the NFL draft because Nico and I have not touched on that a lot, and Daren and I did Talking the Gridiron for the last 3 seasons with Variety Sports. So we got a lot to catch up on. Sports it feels like it's going a little bit crazier than it usually does. I feel like I'm busier than I am during football season, but we're here. We're in NBA playoff basketball, and boys, I'm just going to go ahead and start it off right away. The Indiana Pacers, a 2-0 series lead over the Milwaukee Bucks. That just went final as we were getting is the final score, and considered surprising. This would be considered a surprise if this is the way that things go. But what have we seen from this Milwaukee team? No Dame on the floor, unless I'm not sure if he came back in the most recent game, but they're down 0-2. They're staring early round exit in the face, and this is not something we normally have in the NBA playoffs. So what's going on out there in Milwaukee?
Good, Nico.
Well, Dame did play tonight, so on Tuesday, so he did get his homecoming. Which, look, the injury he had. I believe it was a lung puncture again, or something crazy. It's one of those crazy injuries that you rarely ever see. It's awesome seeing him back on the court because Dame during playoff time is just so damn exciting and a lot of fun to watch, and it's very electrifying. But frankly, like Indiana, when you're removed from Western Conference Finals appearance, people are sleeping on this team a lot. Obviously, the Clevelands, the Bostons, the New Yorks, the world get the limelight. Obviously, Milwaukee with the Giannis get the limelight. Indiana is very similarly built to those Cleveland rosters from the last couple of years, right? They're young talent depth-wise. They have a couple big men, Miles Turner company in the middle that can dominate the paint. They have a good ball handler, Tyrese Halliburton, that's not afraid to kick it. Really built from the inside out. And like I said, Milwaukee just seems like they had – this is the problem that we're having with them, with the Nuggets as well, is like had the same identity over and over again ever since winning that championship back in 2022. It just seems like they've been stuck in the same roster. And look, I don't know who in the Milwaukee Bucks front office thought Kyle Kuzma was going to take this team over the top by trading Chris Middleton away and bringing Kuzma in the year 2025, but that looks like it backfired straight in their face. Biggest mistake that this team made, frankly, was the Dame Lillard trade, because look what Drew Holiday has done for Boston the last couple of years, right? Like, he's done incredible things for Boston, and frankly, they're really losing that one solidified wing defender that they had in Drew Holiday, right? They've been trying to use these other guys in these spots that frankly cannot guard. And when you're facing Indiana with Tyrese Halliburton, who's obviously one of the best facilitators in the point guard position in the league today, like, they're just struggling mightily to stick up with the offensive pace and the defensive talent that the Pacers have. And like I said, this is a weird situation for Milwaukee because everyone wants to talk about, well, Jokic joined Luka in LA, but the real conversation is, what is Giannis going to do? Because Giannis at this rate is getting irate. He's being irate getting first-round exit and after winning the championship. And frankly, they have done nothing to help this team. It's a tough situation. Like, the series is far from over. Say playoffs don't start until a home team loses a playoff game or loses a game, and we haven't had that yet. So it's a 2-0 lead. It's not a massive deficit, but Milwaukee needs to figure it out, especially Game 3, and get their game right.
It's funny watching a little bit of the game.
Interest too. My internet keeps cutting in and out. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jimmy. Try not to cut you off. I think it's just coming across differently on that. I was saying that I think with Milwaukee, they score short and like kind of actually a player and a half, to be honest, because Portis had a great game today. And like, he goes 11 for 19. Giannis has a great game. You're thinking, okay, right there. But who's going to be that guy? Lillard's hurt, right? And he's not there. And then you look at Prince, he's not going to be that guy. Lopez at times was able to give him that. And then you mentioned Kuzma, who was, I look at his stat line from game 1. That is an all-time stat line. The deal's like minutes to get that many zeros. That's impressive.
It's a triple.
I think the Bucks are kind of after this year. I don't see any moves they're making, Jimmy. Do you think, on your point, though, the Pacers are in a good position to make a run? They're about 8-9 deep if they can get the right matchup there. I don't know.
And Siakam deal last year during the regular season was
great deal.
Was such an underslept deal. Like, obviously won a championship Toronto. He was a key piece in those Raptors teams that were good. Like, got into this roster of Halliburton, Turner, and company. The team has the pieces. Maybe they're lacking the star talent and the big game talent to beat a Cleveland or beat a Boston down the line. But like they're just built so great depth wise. And Toppin and McConnell off the bench, Maturin as well.
Oh,
Like they have so much great talent and depth on this team. The only problem with them is like playoff experience, and they went to the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals, last year. So they have that. It's can this team get over the hump with when they have less star talent than these other teams? And frankly, they're doing that against Milwaukee. So why can't they do that against any other teams in the East?
Do they play any more defense than they did last year? Because I remember the Indiana show of being 160-point scorers and giving up 159.
Yes, have to play a little bit more.
Nemhard has obviously been a very good defender too this year for them. Turner is fully healthy.
I never thought he was going to be that good out of Gonzaga. He surprised
me.
I
was at Florida and then went to Gonzaga.
I knew he was good, but I didn't know. I didn't think he was going to be this good of a player. And he's not even an all-star, but you get my point. I didn't see that coming from him.
Another upset that we seem to have brewing, and this one, Nico, you said a series doesn't start until the home team loses. Well, the Los Angeles Lakers are struggling with Minnesota right now. And I know Minnesota is another story. Minnesota, I'm sure that you're going over there with this series. What are you seeing with this Los Angeles and Minnesota series so far?
The Minnesota and that part's in for me because of it's interesting because they have Edwards, which is a big guard. They have Gobert. They have Wilt Reed, as I call him, Nas Reed. But he just seems like he never misses when I watch him play, and he's a really dark.
Well, he doesn't. Oh, trust me, he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's why I'm nicknamed Wilt Reed. He's killed the Warriors over the past years, and so the combination of those three is not the best matchup for a team where they got rid of Davis, who I'm not saying bad trade at all. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't match up well.
Okay. We say it over here. It was.
I didn't realize the value that Luka had to the Dallas Mavericks fan base. I did not realize that.
I didn't realize he played for my team. No, he's like, that's what I meant. That was ridiculous.
This is why you don't have microphones or cameras in your press conferences anymore. I can see why.
That was just do emails. That was cringeworthy. No, I like, obviously just getting started right now. This is a big game for the Lakers. They got to pull this one off. But I'm not sure. I was thinking when I was at Nico, I'm like, the Lakers really meet. I mean, but they don't have a big to really go to the series. So to me, it's going to really just come heavily down to those two, the third guys stepping up. It's not the best matchup for them.
I mean, the matchup like Minnesota gives the Lakers the biggest test because, like you said, like they have defensive matchups, right? You have Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert in the middle, Julius Randle. Like those four, the defensive wise, you can guard Luka, LeBron, and Reeves. You shut pretty well. It's not like one outmatches the other. McDaniels is a damn good defender. He can match up with Luka if he's hot. He can match up Ant on LeBron because he match up. Mike Conley is a very underrated guard for the longest time ever. So you can throw him on Reeves, or you can get big and even throw on and change the matchups that way. Like this is very, very well. Like I said, Rudy Gobert, as much shit as I give him over the years, like throwing Jackson at him is not going to be anyone's problems. It is going to have to come from multiple guys. And it's the same thing that they kind of threw Nuggets out during the regular season, during that game where they bust out. And Luka's game with the Lakers against the Nuggets. Like, they threw teams. They threw Rui Hachimura. You throw Marcus Morris. You throw Finney Smith. You throw different matchups at the big and make him be a shooter, which obviously Rudy Gobert doesn't want to happen. But like I said, I in the slightest surprising at all because I know Minnesota is that good. And like I said, there was a 1.5 point game difference between third place and place. Like their drop off between 1 seed and the 8th seed is obviously very big with Memphis. Series in the Western Conference is going to be a barn burner. And like you said, there's a real possibility, especially with how well Minnesota shows up in the bright lights, like that the Lakers can pull this off, Golden State can pull this off, and the Clippers pull this off. And we have only one home team moving on to the second round after the first round.
I think they'll win tonight. It'd be hard for me to see them going down 0-2, but it's going to be Edwards to me. This is such an opportunity for him to take such a big leap in terms of like his brand and all, beat LeBron, Luka, and that would be it's a big opportunity for him. We'll see if he can get it.
Yeah, I mean, like Luka's an animal, and I saw where last year's Western Conference Finals against Minnesota and how they responded in Game 2, and Luka just absolutely cooked. Now, obviously, we're recording this the day before, so this all happened already. But I expect Luka to play his magic and really try to go over and see make me question who can really guard him. Is it going to be Jay McDaniels? Is it going to be Anthony Edwards? Is it going to be someone else off the like? What's it going to look consistently? Because Luka, when he's hot, like. It's very, very tough for anybody to stick up with him.
No doubt.
I think we can move into your series now, Darren. It's got to be probably the biggest age gap between two rosters in NBA history. The young up-and-coming Houston Rockets down 1-0 to Golden State Warriors. How did you guys get lucky and play the babies in the first round?
We got lucky how to lose clutch games to the Clippers, apparently. And that helped us get and then we got the Grizzlies, who apparently they gave us. So it was a press for those of like the Lakers. I wasn't scared of the Lakers either because I did think the Lakers had a better advantage over us because of the LeBron factor and Luka. But Houston, as soon as we saw that, the problems with Houston we saw in game one, and it'll be interesting to see if Houston can solve them, is they really don't have any half-court offense that consistently scares you, other than just beating the crap out of us on offensive rebounds and just getting enough opportunities that way, getting foul troubled enough that way that we're not able to do enough. Because the Warriors, they worry me down the road a little bit, but in this series, when they have the two best scorers in the series, you throw out Moody and Pods with Green's defensive ability, that first lineup. I don't know. I don't know how Houston solves their half-court offense. It was pretty rough at times, and I knew going in it would be. So they're going to have to beat us the way the Grizzlies wanted to try to beat us a few years ago, which is just literally grit and grind, right? That's literally how they're going to beat us. And if the Warriors score points, I feel good. Let's put it that way.
Houston have the inexperienced playoff with your star players, Jalen Green and Star Thompson, or is it Amen? I can't remember which one.
They were terrible.
They were both horrible, absolutely horrible in the first game. And those are your two top stars of the game, right? I understand Şengün is going to get his. Fred VanVleet's a good player, but like he's not going to be number one on a playoff contending team. Dylan Brooks is there for defensive purposes. You have that big of a dud game from your two quote unquote star offensive players. Like Golden State matches well. I mean, very, very well, right? Like you're begging Amen in his second season to guard Jimmy Butler or guard Stephen Curry on the outside wing. Welcome to the playoffs, kid. Or you're saying, hey, Green, go out there and chase Steph Curry around for 40 plus minutes and see what happens. And these kids are just, like I said, it's inexperience. And the 7th seed, it's almost, because I hate saying this because I think it's still good to win games, but like the 7th seed was the desired thing once Houston locked up the 2 seed.
It really was.
It was you didn't want the Lakers. Obviously, you probably didn't want to play Denver because of the altitude and different things. Like of all the teams, you definitely didn't want to play OKC. It's like if there's for that 4 through 8 position seating, it was like if you want to sit in the 7th seed, like you want, frankly, like Ime Udoka, like he's I'm not going to for that much, but like he frankly like not know how to play the big time when you don't have players that are the best players on the floor. Right, the best players on the floor are Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. When you have not even the 3rd or 4th best players consistently, and who knows if it's even the 3rd or 4th best, like you're in trouble. And man, just like
they remind me a lot of your Nuggets from about when we played you guys about 3 or 4 years ago. It was like I think you had
during your last championship run. I remember talking to series like the Jackrabbits are going to continually run around. They're going to get open.
Because a good point, because like Jokic, I mean Şengün's Jokic carries that weight for Houston. They're both like that kind of style a little bit too. Jokic is a way better passer and all that stuff, but just in terms of the way Houston uses them, and then you didn't have really scorer. Murray wasn't there yet, and you didn't have anybody else. We were
throwing Campazzo off the bench.
It just feels a little like that with Rockets, but like you have the Brooks, but they both do the same things, and so that's what I watch. That's what I think of.
Absolutely, the Houston roster, like. That's why they're in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes and the Devin
would be a good pickup
and all these different sweepstakes and the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes at one point too. Like they just don't have solid